US President Donald Trump, after his visit to China, he warned about Taiwan independence. And he also said that if there is any military conflicts between Taiwan and China, it will be too far from the US. So basically, it means that it's too far for the US to come to settle the conflicts. After hearing this, the pro-independence Taiwanese people and groups, parties, so on and so forth, are now worried. Hang on, has the US stand on Taiwan changed? Oh, it hasn't changed a bit. Hi, Leslie Hu here. Before we move on to talk about the stand of US pertaining to Taiwan, let's look at some history. What happened between the Communist Party and the Kuomintang after World War II? Bear in mind that it's a civil war. It is not a foreigner, like Communist Party was a foreigner, invaded China, and then at the end chased the Nationalist Party, Kuomintang, to Taiwan. It's not like that. It's far from it. It was a civil war. The Communist Party, the people of the Communist Party were Chinese, as well as the Nationalist Party, people of the Nationalist Party, the Kuomintang, were also Chinese. So it's a conflict. It's an internal conflict, a civil war. So at the end, in 1949, Communist Party took power or governed China, and the Kuomintang governed the island. Communist Party of China, the CCP or CPC, whichever you call it, has no obligation to return China to Kuomintang or the national parties. No, there's no need. It's a civil war. It's like the civil war between the Union and the Confederates. So just think of it. When a pro-independent Taiwanese say that, no, I'm not Chinese, I am Taiwanese. It's very close, very, very close to an American born and raised in the South, say that, no, I'm not the citizen of the United States of America. I'm the citizens of the Confederations. It's like that. So just have to take note that it was a civil war. One side lost, retreated to Taiwan, while the winner took the big piece of the pie, that is China. So this is the thing that we have to bear in mind moving forward. Don't treat China and Taiwan are two separate entities, and Kuomintang or the Taiwanese people are the rightful owner of the land that is now governed by the Communist Party. No, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. Okay, now let's move on to the question that we want to explore. Has the US stance on Taiwan changed after Trump's visit to China? No, it hasn't changed a bit. All along, the US stand on Taiwan is maintain the status quo. No independence, no nothing. Okay? Just that every year you just buy weapons from the US. That's all. Taiwan independence is not in the interest of the US. Because if Taiwan were to declare independence, China will come, because that is the red line. Yeah, that is China's red line. Yeah. China will come, and eventually the US will have no one to, have no Taiwan, so to speak, because at that time, Taiwan will be under China. Taiwan has no reason to buy weapons from the US. So Taiwan independence is not the interest of the US. I mean, if it is the interest of the US, Taiwan independence, the US will have allowed the Chen Shui-bian, the president of DPP, the DPP president, the first president of the DPP, the pro-independence party, it will have the chance. The president was Chen Shui-bian. Chen Shui-bian will have the chance to declare independence. But no. How didn't? Chen Shui-bian didn't declare independence. Yes, by now you, you sense that the pro-independence DPP needs the US green light to do anything, which is true. It needs US green light to make big event, big move like independence. That's true. That's the fact, whether you like it or not. So, Taiwan independence is not the interest of the US. So, Taiwanese, please don't be confused that the US has changed its stance on Taiwan after China visit. No, it doesn't change a bit. It doesn't change a bit. So what it wants is Taiwan maintain status quo, continue to buy weapons from the US. Period. That's all. Now, let's look at the Taiwanese perspective. Now, how should I say? Taiwanese can choose their path, what they want to do moving forward. If, for example, if pro-China KMT, Kuomintang, were to win the 2028 presidential elections, Kuomintang presidents were to say that, well, let's return to, not say return to China, but let's work together with China. Not only economics, not only investments, but also military. We don't need to buy US weapons anymore. We have PLA to protect us. If the Kuomintang president were to do that, think of it. What can the US do? Send their fleets to Taiwan? Well, it can, but is it a wise move to do that, given China's power in terms of military, in terms of Air Force, in terms of Navy, in terms of drones, in terms of missiles. The US cannot do anything if Taiwan were to say that, well, we don't need to buy US weapons anymore. We have China to protect us, and we want to work 100% with China in terms of economics, in terms of investment. There is basically nothing that the US can do. So, Taiwanese need to think, need to consider going forward what they need. Because those billions of dollars spent on US weapons, right, whether these weapons are useful to Taiwan, whether these weapons can be used to defend Taiwan against the PLA weapons, so on and so forth, that is another conversation. So the money saved on not buying US weapons, billions of dollars, US dollars, can be used on Taiwan infrastructure, healthcare, education, agriculture, so on and so forth. So Taiwanese need to think, with China behind them, given China's power in terms of economy, in terms of military, Taiwanese can choose without the fear of the US. Of course, the US sanctions on those politicians with US dollars deposit or US dollar assets, or properties in the US, so on and so forth. Yes. I mean, these politicians, how should I say, will be sacrificed. Just think of it. They know that as Taiwan politicians, the government, the civil servants, they should think of Taiwan interests and not about their US dollar assets, US dollar deposits. So this the thing that in 2028, the Taiwanese voters should think, what do we want moving forward? With US, with China, and politicians at that time, we have to think, do you want to live under the fear of US sanctions? That's up to you. Okay, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.